Hello everybody, this is my CBX Honda 1000 from 1978. I've owned it since May 2021, and as it has now 62,000 kilometers on the tacho, it needs to have the cam change replaced. So for that we need to remove the engine, and that's what I'm going to show you in this video. So I've removed the gas tank, the exhaust, and also the protection, the chrome bars that are in front of the engine. And now the next phase is to uncouple the engine from the frame on the top. First of all, removing the sprocket from the primary shaft. Then tilt the engine a little bit and prepare it for fitting to this frame. It can be used to transport. Okay, so now we see that the sprocket detached, and also there is an oil line here that you see. And what I did is that leaves an open hole if you remove the line. So simple way is to simply press a piece of wood against the oily surface, and you'll see the holes appear, or let's say the location where the holes should be. You drill a few holes. You saw a little piece of wood, and you leave the O-ring, which is at the engine or at the line. And the same here on the other side where you see the oil line. I have put a little socket, or let's say plastic bag, over it, just to make sure that nothing comes out. And also, if you detach them, before you detach them, make sure you have some oil can under it, so to contain the oil. So you have to undo connectors. The above one here is not necessary, but the other two are. And there's also two sensors, one for the oil pressure on this side here, and so one, that's this one. And also there's one for the neutral gear over here that we can detach later, but be sure to do that before you remove the engine. And just to indicate, this was the amount of oil that still came out of the lines when I removed them, and especially the line at the side of the drive, primary drive, that's where the most oil came from. So be aware of that. Okay, so now I've removed both of the front, let's say, engine holders, both sides. What is remaining just is these two ones with the one bolt here and the one bolt on the other side. And be sure to support the engine from underneath, and then with as possible as good as a lift as this one. And then just carefully lower the engine until a certain point where we can hang actually these 2 points of the engine with a strap to the frame, and then it kind of hangs in there. And then the same on the back end here to do the same, and then you kind of have the engine hanging in the frame, and then you can put that frame underneath and mount it. That's the theory. Wish me luck. Okay, so the engine is now supported by the jack, but also here it has a band. I have tested it. It stays intact when fully loaded. And then the idea is I've removed this bolt right here after I have supported it with a jack, and then before I applied the strap here. And now we're gonna by the way, don't forget to also detach the selector, the gear selector. So now what we're going to do is unmount the choke cable, which is already done, and the throttle cables. And then there may be a few connectors on the other side which also need attachment, but I'm going to lower it gradually and then see what happens along the way. All right. Okay, a very tricky part is to remove the cables, as said. I'm not going to do a full video on that because there are very good ones on YouTube already that are much more experienced than I have. But the idea is that I removed already the rear cable, let's say, of the both throttle cables, and the front one you apparently remove by putting it out of its socket, like we did with the other one, but then you have to put the throttle to the open position and then lock it with the screwdriver or Allen key, and then kind of fiddle the cable out of its resting point on that rotating part. All right. Okay, so another quite decisive moment. I removed all the cabling, disconnected all the cabling, and now you see there's no jack, so it hangs on this strap here, and here is also a strap that I put through the tilting. You now have the access to those holes, which the upper mounting bolt went through. So now you see that it's hanging on there. Well, actually not really, because there's still this bolt axle that's in there that needs to be removed. All right, so here is the engine lowered and hanging on two straps you see here, and we have taken out the axle on the bottom. So now you see that it's pretty much aligned already, and I need to lower it a little bit more. Actually, this is a lot lighter than I thought. It's just a matter of pulling on this one here and then releasing with the thumb this one and holding it a little bit, but the weight is a little bit less than I had expected. So it's quite intimidating at first, but actually it looks like it's doable this way. So what I'm now going to do is further position the holes on the frame and on the engine, and then see if I can line it up and show you the finished process. Well, actually that was not so difficult. It was a matter of loosening the straps a little bit by bit, and then mounting in the end, having the frame fitted to the underframe to the engine. So there's two fillers here on this side. On the other side of the lower axle, there is no spacer. So keep in mind that order. So here's the engine without the carburetors. Cleaned it up a little bit, and looks pretty good. I've covered the inlets and also the outlets. I put some tape on the studs, because so that the cloth can't come out completely, because it has to be transported. So here's the engine hanging from the crane, and it's ready to be towed into the trailer that's outlined over there, and then we're gonna get it to SICK Center in Heino, Netherlands. So here we are at the SICK Center in Heino, Netherlands, where the engine now is going to be getting new chains, cam chains, cam joints, and new rubbers for the clutch. I'll say farewell for now, dear CBX engine. Well, what's a CBX without its engine? Well, not much, as you can see. This concludes the first video of Mechanical Pet. I'm Chris, hope you liked it. Give me a like, give me a comment. Take care.